roster because he can return kicks, can play offense for you, and you can move him around if you have an injury on defense.
And one of several ex-Alouettes on this Winnipeg team. Terry Baker tries a field goal from 42 yards, but it's wide to the right. And Harold Nash will bring it out, sprinting straight up the middle. What a good return by Nash to get it up across the Winnipeg 20. Montreal moves the ball, but has nothing to show for it. Still 7-0 Alouettes in the first. Bomber football at their 20. Bell back to pass, has time, has Nigel Williams for about a 5-yard gain. Williams, who tried out for the Washington Redskins after playing with the Argos last year, and the Alouettes before that, coming mid-season, joined Winnipeg actually in a trade from Toronto.
Well, they're going to have their hands full today. Irv Smith, Nigel Williams will be against Irv Smith all game. One of the best covered corners and a guy who's coming off a hot week. A couple interceptions last week. So Nigel Williams has to use his speed against Irv Smith. Get him to turn, get him off him, and then come back to the football. 2nd and 5 out of the shotgun. Bell looks to his left, has Milt Stegall. And there's Steagall's first catch of the day. The second leading receiver in the Canadian Football League behind Alan Pitts. Gets it up near a first down. Just about a half-yard shy, and this is an interesting call. The fans want Richie to go for it. Well, it's a big decision, though. I mean, because it's in your own end, it's a big decision. It's less than a yard. In fact, they're probably going to take a measure to make sure. Anytime it's under a yard, the coach can call it. And you see Dave Ritchie over there saying, let me take a look at it. And what this does is it gives Ritchie exactly where the distance is and also time to go over in his mind whether or not he should gamble if he's short. Are you not at the point of the season where you have a lot more to gain and a lot less to lose, really, by starting to go for these things? I couldn't agree more. You saw the onside kick to start this game off. I mean, you got to start pulling out the stops. You got to start just say, hey, we got to take chances. We've got to play to win the football game, not play not to lose it. Well, Bob Cameron is still on the sideline. And they're now bringing the chains back out again. They had them out. They brought them back. It looks like to reset them. Well, you see the little, there's a little deal right up there, that little round thing. That marks where the line is, okay? So they had that marked incorrectly. So when they got it out there, that didn't line up, right? So now they had to go back, put it on the line, that little round clip. Then they can mark it now. See, now they got the exact measurement. So that's how close they are. They're about 6-7 inches. So clearly short, and I'm sure Dave Ritchie knew that going in, but as you talked about, it does allow him some time to devise a plan, or just merely make the decision, I should say. Yeah, he goes over in his mind, okay, what's the upside, what's the downside? Field position is huge here because you're in your own end, but when you got 6 inches to go, you got to feel like you can get that offensively when they line a yard off the ball. Big call from the 30, but a flag is down, and what a big flag it is. It looks like Bell had got across for the first down. Well, you never know on this, but usually the defense.
Offside. Montreal defensive line is first down.
You were saying. Yeah, usually the defense will either creep up and get inside that 1 yard neutral zone and try and guess the snap count. So a good call for Winnipeg to go for it and keep a drive going, already down by 7. With clock ticking down here in the first quarter. Under a minute to play in the first. Bell under pressure, gets it away. Nobody near it. His receiver, Milt Stegall, stopped. And the only one with even a chance at it was an Alouette. And Bell slow to get up, still sitting down on the turf. He had a lot of pressure coming at him. Well, you know, one thing on offense, you know, Kerwin Bell got hammered on that play. One thing offensively is that you have to show the same kind of look all the time. And right now, Kerwin Bell takes that snap, but everyone on the Montreal defense knows that he's throwing the football, and he gets labeled there in the middle. I believe it was Ed Filion that put the hit on him. Out of the shotgun now. And the last play of the quarter, Matt DeBuck, number 5, with it at the 40. DeBuck with some speed, drops the ball after he goes down. It's a first down for Winnipeg, and a good way for the Bombers to end at the quarter, although you can see Bell wincing in pain. Interesting to see how he's affected after that hit, the previous play. End of the quarter. Back to CFL Live Control.
You're watching the CFL Live, and we're at the quarter. Brought to you by Toyota Canada and its dealers.
Well, a bold start for the Bombers, starting the game with that short kick, but unfortunately the momentum lasted only about a minute or so. That's what happens against the Montreal Alouettes. And we talked off the top of the show about how the Owls would base their play-calling decisions on where the Bombers' linebackers lined up. And, Matt, we saw that right off the top.
Yeah, we did. And talking to Danny Machocha, offensive coordinator for the Alouettes, he simply said they're going to watch the strong side linebacker and the weak side linebacker. And here in the first play, we see Henry Newby right here lined up on the inside of Michael Souls. He's got two responsibilities. One, the run all the way in here, and two, Michael Souls, who's lined up to the outside of him. Montreal simply play actions to keep him on the run. Michael Souls has got outside leverage already. He just runs a corner, lays it up, and Souls does what he does best. What I think, catching the football coming out of the backfield. Just a great job of Montreal taking advantage of the linebackers and where they're lined up, Chris.
Right, and a great job of Tracy Ham taking advantage of the secondary injuries for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Really, Brendan Hamilton has a slight concussion. He has to leave the game. Guess where Tracy Ham goes? Right to Harold Nash, who's out of his personal comfort zone. He is not a cornerback. He gave up too much room when the Montreal Alouettes were on the 7-yard line. I thought that was great awareness of Tracy Ham to take advantage of the injury, James.
The one bright note for Bombers fans, you know, Owls vulnerable a little bit on the road. 3 of their 4 losses have come away from Montreal, but they lead this one 7-0 after 1 quarter of play. Let us send you back to Winnipeg for second quarter action.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. And Dave Ritchie sees some progress by this Bomber offense after the 3rd down gamble. And then another first down to Matt DeBuck to start the second half. So they change ends, and they'll be at the 45. And the first quarter stats are brought to you by Castrol GTX. Drive hard.
Well, I'll tell you something for Winnipeg. Not enough here, not enough here. But the good thing is they haven't done anything there. And that's the key. For Winnipeg this year, they've turned the ball over way too much. We talked about that being the #1 key for Winnipeg to win. Well, they don't have one yet, and that's important for them. And now they just have to keep the offense moving. They just come off a first down to end the first quarter.
And Tracy Ham, 8 for 9 to start this game. That justifies it even more what Charlie Tav has decided to do. Got Anthony Calvillo as the top-rated passer in the CFL, but when you got Tracy Ham and he's healthy, you play him. The handoff there to Deland McCullough on first down. Short yardage of about 2 for the Bombers. Now Winnipeg, I mean, they're already assured of having a losing season, but a playoff possibility is still very strong here. I mean, they have to catch Edmonton. That's the closest.
There's no question about it. They're after Edmonton. They have to beat Edmonton outright. They can't tie Edmonton and cross over, but Dave Ritchie knows that all you got to do is get in the show. You go to the dance, you got a chance to dance with the pretty girl. If you don't go, you don't have that chance.
Well, it's not pretty here as he's taken down and the ball comes loose and Alfred Payton has it. The Alouettes in the first turnover of this game. And you'd have to figure, giving the stats coming in, that it would go Montreal's way. Bell's not too happy about it with his helmet askew on his head, but the turnover ratio for the Bombers has been abysmal. -26. Make that -27 right now.
Yeah, well, Kerwin Bell in the shotgun position on all-out blitz. See Stephon Reed getting in there first. Rasan Giddings also coming on the blitz, and then it's just a team meeting and a scramble for the football. A lot of bullets flying. Look at Giddings in there, and Stephon Reed got first contact, and Alfred Payton sees the ball bounce right in front of him and scoops it up. They know where Kerwin Bell's going to be. So defensively, as a defensive line backing core or the defensive line themselves, they can play more games, a couple more stunts, because they know they can make up for it because Bell can't beat him with his legs.
Alfred Payton had the early lead in the sack race after 3 weeks when he had 5 against Winnipeg. But since then, he has not had a multi-sack game. And Joe Montford clearly leads the way now with 22. Well, Payton recovers the football, then gets on the bike. A little more work to do. A man down. We'll be back on CFL Live. Back in Winnipeg, that injured player we talked about was Baron Miles, part of an excellent Alouette secondary. Seems to be okay now, trying to work the kinks loose.
Stretching out a hip flexor.
Tracy Ham, Alfonso Browning gets drilled by Eric Johnson. Browning juggling that ball up high. He was an open target, Glenn.
And he's hurt. He's down. He took a big hit right in the rib cage. Eric Johnson replacing Spencer McLennan at free safety. Pretty good movement because he comes from a long way away at the top of your screen, sees the ball in the air, closes down, and then really puts a great shot to the rib cage of Alfonso Browning. That's a linebacker hitting you. Watch this hit and watch how his body bends. I mean, the body is not supposed to bend like that.
Now, at the shortest of times, that's a very vulnerable position for a receiver to be in, but then to be juggling the ball and stay stretched like that, I mean, as a former safety yourself, that must have been like a dream to be coming in on a guy like that. Obviously not with the intent to hurt, but still, I mean...
No, there's the intent to hurt. not to hurt anyone permanently, but just to hurt him so he gets up hurt.
That's the way the game is.
That's the way the game is played.
And Browning seems okay, and checking back over his shoulder, maybe to catch the number, right?
Catch the number of that truck and make sure that he, you know, with confidence looks back at Eric Johnson and says, it didn't hurt me. Knocked the wind out of me for a second, but I'll be back.
Well, the kind of week Browning had last week when he was wide open, not used to being hit. He had 3 touchdowns against Saskatchewan. Ham now 8 for 10, and Ham now taken down. It's Joe Fleming with a flag down for Fleming, the first sack of the season. After being released by the Chicago Bears and coming up late in the season with Winnipeg last month.
Eric Johnson made the play again. I mean, Joe Fleming gets a sack, but Eric Johnson...
Illegal contact on a receiver. Winnipeg 33. First down.
Oh, that's a bad break for the Bombers because they had this play. Eric Johnson makes a great play. Tracy Ham was trying to influence Johnson at the safety position by sending 2 guys down the seam. See, Johnson's up here, and he's going to get 1 guy in front and 1 guy straight down the seam, but he plays it smart. He plays the deep guy. Ham can't get rid of the football because Johnson is back there. Joe Fleming gets to him. But Ferguson comes up with a penalty to keep that drive alive for Montreal.
And so Joe Fleming does not get his first sack of the season. It's negated. Alouettes in the move with Pringle. Finding some holes. Another good stick in there by Eric Johnson. 27 on 27. Some good popping going on.
Well, Eric Johnson's looked pretty good at the free safety. I mean, he's getting involved. This is a pretty big hit. You know what's interesting about listening to that kind of contact? You heard 3 or 4 pops in there. A couple on the line of scrimmage, and then Johnson coming up to put the hit on Pringle.
Short yardage, though, and a long gain by Pringle. They got about 9.5, and Ham keeps it and looks to have another Alouette first down.
Now, that really is a tribute to the athletic ability of Eric Johnson to be able to move from the linebacking core into the free safety position and not only move there and just kind of hold your own, but make some plays.
And that's the stuff of a linebacker to take on Pringle and hit him that hard, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and he likes it, though, because he's coming downhill, so he gets a 4 or 5 yard run at Pringle, and sometimes that's what you need. So Gene Gaines, the defensive coordinator in Winnipeg, doing some juggling, but having confidence in the athletic ability of Eric Johnson.
Former coordinator with Montreal, actually, last year, and one of the greatest defensive backs the Alouettes have ever had, a Hall of Famer. Ham rolling out under pressure, and still going at just a couple of yards. Gets out of bounds. Tracy Ham is a pretty difficult guy to get a hold of at times.
Well, we saw him just go to the 8,000-yard rushing mark, and of course, he runs a lot less often now than he did in his early days, but you can tell by that run right there, and that's Henry Newby with good speed at the linebacker position. He outruns him and Maurice Kelly's angle to get to the sideline, so he can still get it done when he has to.
Well, given the fact that he has averaged about 700 to 800 yards a season in rushing this year, coming into this game only 166, albeit fighting injuries. A lower total, but yeah, he can still do it when he has to, and he has to here, but he doesn't do it. Taken down by Benny Goods under pressure, and the Bombers do have a sack. And it'll be 3rd down.
Well, you know, the expectations for Benny Goods coming in here this year as a free agent were very, very high because of the performance that he put year in, year out in Edmonton. He had some injuries early in the year and has really been a non-factor. But he is a guy that they can build around. Benny Goods is one of the great players from the position in this league. He's had a tough year, but he's got a few years left.
Terry Baker's 0 for 1 in field goals today. He missed one in the first quarter from 42 away. This one from 31, and it's good. And this time the Alouettes do get something to show for it, driving down and picking up a field goal. Montreal 10, Winnipeg nothing. The second quarter on CFL Live. Winnipeg football. Bombers now trailing by 10 after a 31-yard field goal by Terry Baker here in the second quarter. Kerwin Bell has not had much success so far moving the ball. He'll pass on first down here. And he'll find Robert Gordon, but Gordon can't hang on. It was low, but it looked to be catchable. It'll be second down.
Ball was a little bit behind him. You know, one thing that I wonder about is Milt Stegall. And we talk about expectations for Benny Goods. Well, the expectations for a guy like Milt Stegall are also enormous. I mean, he's over 1,000 yards. I mean, his numbers don't look that bad, but in 14 games, Stegall has 6 touchdowns this year. Last year, he had 6 in 7 games. It just doesn't seem like, I mean, he's ranked second in the league, so his numbers are there, but he just hasn't broken games open for Winnipeg like he has in the past.
Bell under pressure. You don't see him run very often. He just falls shy of the first down up near the 45. He had to get to about the 45.5 for a first down.
Well, I'll tell you something. He really fooled Stephon Reed for 2 reasons. Stephon Reed drops back in coverage. You're not going to see him yet, but see, first of all, Reed doesn't think he's going to run because Kerwin Bell never runs. But then that move right there, okay, you could have put an hourglass on it, but it still was a good enough move for the Bombers to get the first down, and it really surprised Stephon Reed. I love joking with quarterbacks, drop back guys, because you know when you're a DB, drop back quarterbacks, they read you and they can make you look bad in a hurry with their arm. So when they run a little bit, and I'm thinking of McManus and Kerwin Bell.
The handoff, and I don't think they have it. They needed about a yard, and it was a very short gain up to about the 45. As said, they needed a little bit more than that. Deland McCullough, the ball carrier.
Well, they get the spot, because you were right. They were very close. McCullough's legs got cut out from underneath him, but I think when he fell down, just his body length kind of got him over the line. McCullough's only 5'11", but he needed all 5'11" to get it there.
Mind you, they put it on the 45, and the yard marker for a first down appeared, to me anyway, to be past the 45, but it's a first down, Bombers, and they need it, and they'll take it. And Bell, lots of time this time, although somebody in his face as he gets it away just at the last second as the Boo Birds come out again here in Winnipeg.
I talked about Kerwin Bell looking for Milt Stegall, but Milt Stegall had a little bit of problems with Washington. Mark Washington in the cover. See, nice back pedal, stays in his back pedal, doesn't turn his shoulders. See, defensive backs, if they can stay square, and I mean keeping their shoulders facing the receiver, they can break out of that backfield in a hurry with their feet. If they have to turn and run, they're in trouble, and Stegall never got Mark Washington turned.
So it's second down, and Bell's out of the shotgun again. A 4-man rush. Dumps it off to a wide-open Matt DeBuck. First down and more. DeBuck! Washington gets him down, but not before he gets to the Alouette 27.
Rod Baron Miles, we saw stretching earlier. He has a bit of a hip flexor, it looked like, or a hip pointer. He was stretching out his hip muscle. He was the guy who broke down on Matt DeBuck and missed the tackle. He's going to come from inside out on DeBuck, who's sitting right out there on the outside position. And watch how his angle. See, he can't break back to make the tackle. Watch 31 come right here. Now here comes the break on the football. Little move, and you see Baron Miles can't stop his feet and get back to make that tackle. He's playing hurt right now, and I think he's going to come out of the football game. They're going to put Sanchez in. And there he is on the sideline.
We saw earlier how he was trying to stretch out his hip. Big first down, Winnipeg. Deland McCullough with a flag on the play. The flag was thrown after he had hit the hole, and after a big 38-yard gain by DeBuck. This one appears to be going against Winnipeg.
See, in a nutshell, this has been the Winnipeg story.
Holding. Winnipeg 51. First down repeated.
This has been the Winnipeg story all year. You know, they get some positive plays happening, some big plays, and then they take the gun out of the holster, point it at their foot, and pull the trigger. You know, and this is a big penalty. I mean, now they've got to try and come back and first and long and come up with a first down. This is an opportunity to score, get some momentum, and get the crowd in behind you. And now Dave Ritchie has his back to the wall again.
First and 20. Wide open is Armstrong. Touchdown, Bombers.
defensive line, your linebackers can make it up for you. If you make a mistake in the linebacking core, your secondary can sometimes save you. If you make a mistake in the secondary, the scoreboard lights go on. Lester Smith, who rarely makes a mistake, left the middle of the field because he was concerned with Miltsteagle's speed, and Armstrong recognized it, so did Kerwin Bell.
In late August, after dropping what could have been a touchdown in Toronto, the Alouettes cut Chris Armstrong. He wound up back with his old coach, Dave Ritchie. That'll get the plane going, get the Bombers going. Chris Armstrong with 6. It's 10-7 Montreal. Chris Armstrong has scored touchdowns before, but Glenn, you have to think this one means a little bit more.
Well, Chris Armstrong takes advantage of something that doesn't happen very often. See right here, Lester Smith, concerned with the speed of Milt Stiegel, takes off to go cover Stiegel down the seam. When he does that, he leaves the middle of the field wide open. Armstrong can't believe it. All he has to do is catch that football, and he walks into the end zone. That doesn't happen very often. Lester Smith has been the All-Canadian at the position for 2 straight years.
So Winnipeg's back in this game, trailing 10-7 now. Thomas Haskins on the return, and Wade Miller has him taken down at the 34. The scoring drive brought to you by 1-800-HI-ITS-ME. 6 plays, 75 yards, and Pater.
You know what,
Armstrong?
I think the biggest part of that scoring drive is it was 6 plays, but the Winnipeg offense finally bounced back from adversity. They had a holding penalty that dropped them back into a 1st and 15, and Armstrong comes up with a 37-yard touchdown catch. Fighting through adversity builds character, and Dave Ritchie hasn't seen enough of it from his team this year. Maybe they're finally doing it in this one this afternoon.
So let's see how Ham responds with the Alouettes. He's had a great day. Pringle, left side, can't get outside.
This is the key to stopping Mike Pringle. If you plug the hole at the line of attack, see, if you can plug it up here, make Pringle turn his shoulders to the sideline, you got a chance. See, there's nothing there. So he sees shoulders are turned to the sideline. Now he's running east-west. If he's running east-west, you got a chance on defense. If he's running north-south, forget about it.
Put a smile on the face of defensive coordinator Gene Gaines. The way they strung it at Pringle on that play. 2nd down and 9. Throwing, completing, it's Haskins. 1st down, Montreal and more. Thomas Haskins, who's shown more versatility perhaps than anyone in the Canadian Football League this season, with a big 1st down for the Alouettes and maybe diffuse some of this Bomber momentum.
Thomas Haskins had mixed feelings coming into this game this afternoon. Of course, he wants to beat Harold Nash, which is the guy he's matched up against. Winnipeg playing zone defense there, so that wasn't Nash's fault, but he's matched